So what I want to talk about today is the light and the dark within us and in the world. Because it's kind of writ large in the world now, isn't it, really? The issue of the shadow rearing its head, making its way up to the surface more and more and more. And more and more and more people are seeing, the shadow and the light, the darkness and the light, both within themselves and writ large in the world. And in many ways, I don't know, maybe it's easier to look at the world and see it out there than it is to see it within ourselves. But in my experience, personal experience, and working with people, unless we resolve the issue of light and dark, shadow, denied aspects of ourselves, buried emotionality within ourselves, then in many ways it's never going to be resolved in the world, and we're always going to project that which is buried, that which is in the shadows within ourselves, onto the world. And then we may try fixing the world, or blaming the world, or judging the world, or judging others' darkness. Excuse me, it's very easy to judge others' darkness, and it's very easy to project. That's what humans do. That's what unconsciousness does. That's what emotional avoidance does. And we see that. So the task really, and one of the reasons why I talk about this so much on this channel, is one of facing ourselves, of facing our own darkness, of facing our own shadow, of facing our own abyss, of facing our own neglected emotional body, the neglected grievances, burdens, wounds, troubles, offences, you name it, hurts really in many ways, that we've grown up with and buried, and have built a structure, a self, a personality around those, on top of them, as it were. And the personality self is in many ways built on the foundations, on the structure, on the of all of these aspects. They're not all bad, but they're lopsided, and they are neglected by us. And that's a problem. It's a problem it's a problem on many levels, because if we're trying to become more transparent, if there's a light within us that is seeking to shine, if we're fed up with our suffering, if we've had enough of just kind of being at the mercy of our own emotions, or neglected emotions, or our darkness, or our pain, or our suffering, then at some point, we have to turn around and take a long, hard look at ourselves again and again and again. I know this, and it's not easy. I recognize that it's not easy to take a long, hard look at ourselves, and what we've been up to for years and years, and what we've been denying, and what we've been, in a way, running away from, and whatever strategy we've been playing, or whatever game. And I don't mean that in a light way, I mean in a very serious way. Whatever game we've been playing, whatever strategy we've been deploying in order to either survive, get through, cope with life. And maybe it's worked, and maybe it does work for a lot of people, and maybe it's worked for you. I know that the strategies that I employed, really from, I would say, about 16, when I got most wounded in my family because of events that happened. Well, then I, went on a journey, really, I would say, for 20, 25 years. And I would still be on that journey today if it hadn't have been for certain interventions that came prodded from other people, that allowed me to turn around and take a long hard look at myself and say, wow, wow, is that what I've been doing? Is that who I am? Is that what's buried inside me, really? I discovered my addiction was an attempt to escape from pain and anger and hurt and confusion. And all of my drinking, well, not all of my drinking, but most of it was driven, by that. And then, of course, the drinking itself just took over, and I, got locked into the cycle of drinking, of addiction. And that, of course, that's not easy to come undone. It's not easy to intervene, but that's where the will, if you like, a certain will, a certain desire that's stronger than the addiction itself, a certain willingness, if you like. It's not will in that way. It's a willingness to say, I'm going to take a long, hard look at myself here, and I'm going to face whatever it is that needs to be faced. And that's tough. Man, that's tough. And it's not a one-shot deal, because, as I experienced, one layer, if you like, starts to come undone. And far from that being the sort of final layer of self or of undoing, it just comes and reveals yet another layer of the onion, if you like. It is a great metaphor, the onion. So you strip away one layer, not knowing why or what really is happening, and it reveals another level of pain underneath, and another level, and another level, And I think, for myself, it was just that I was willing to go all the way, because of events, not because I decided that was what I was going to do, but because one event, if you like, one healing event, one undoing event led to another one and led to another one. The undoing of addiction, obviously, 25 years of serious drinking, had a catastrophic effect on my body, on my liver, on my digestive system, with a lot of drugs involved as well, and buried all the toxins and chemicals and buried themselves in my body. So when I stopped and I started to pay attention, or I started to kind of, I think I would say, go on a healing journey, and then, through Amoda, my wife, I managed to get an Ayurvedic reading, pulse reading, who revealed that I was really sick. And so I, embarked on an Ayurvedic journey, and then all hell broke loose and I got really ill for another 15 years. But I didn't, that became yet another aspect of the healing journey, that I just was, I'm stubborn in a sense, I wasn't going to just give in. I was just going to go with it, go with the journey, go on the journey. And I was prepared, and I would encourage everybody to be, prepared to go the whole way. We don't know. You don't know how it's going to be for you. You don't know what God's or the divine has got in store for you. But the willingness is to turn around and take a long, hard look at oneself, if that's what's being called for, which it might be, it might not be. and to see and to look at the look within, look at the patterns of one's life, look at the patterns of your life, look at what's being systematically avoided, and develop the capacity of willingness to look at it and decide within oneself, within yourself, say, that's not what I'm here for. There's more to me. There's more to me than this, than just this cyclical way of being. There's more to me than this. And I will resolve the shadow. I will enter the darkness. It's like, and that willingness, that turning around, that is the light. That is the light of your being. It's not somewhere else. It's not some magical place. It's like, the turning around is the light. The willingness to shine the light of awareness in a way on one's own darkness. And then the darkness starts to dissolve in a sense. But that's the point. That's the point at which it hurts. It hurts. And it's the measure of us is that when it hurts, we don't turn away in fear. Don't turn away in fear. Turn towards in love. Turn towards yourself in love. That's what you need. That's what we all need. That's what I needed. I didn't even know that I needed that. I didn't even know that I needed that from myself. I would have thought, because I was always searching for love from another. And it's easy to search for it from another, although we might not get it, of course, and certainly never in the way that we really want it. It's conditional. But we can't offer ourselves conditional love. This is the thing. When we turn around to meet ourselves, what we're really inviting is to meet ourselves as unconditional love, to meet the parts of ourselves that have been hurt, that have been wounded, that are carrying the tightness, carrying the grievances, to meet those with the unconditional love that is our true and essential nature. God, the divine, the beloved. That's what we are in our essential self. And so why not turn around to the best of our capacity and meet our darkness, meet it with the light of unconditional love. Yes, it's going to hurt, but it's hurting anyway. It's hurting anyway. So to do this and do this and do this becomes a lifelong path, and that is the path of love. That's the love affair. The love affair that we have is not a love affair with another. The love affair that we truly have is a love affair with ourselves. And the ourselves is the beloved. This is like the reunification of us from this separation that we've all experienced during our conditioning, during our usually fractured lives and childhood and youth, where we somehow become alienated from our own innocence. This is an important thing. We become alienated from our innocence, and it just gets buried, it gets neglected, it gets forgotten. It doesn't disappear, although it feels like it's disappeared, it's vanished, but it's just buried under the weight of the self, buried under the weight of ego self, buried under the weight of conditioning, buried under the weight of self-negation, buried under the weight of negativity, buried under the weight. It's but still it's there. Still it's there. And it's this turning towards which allows the kind of reunification, if you like, the reunion with our innate, essential, innocent self. And this is You know, this reunification, this reunion is a profoundly healing quality. That is the healing journey. And it's almost like the healing journey that we need at this time to welcome ourselves home. This, you know, profoundly sort of simple in a way. It's not complex. To welcome ourselves home is the reunion of the parts that were never separate anyway, but we're separate in our mind, and that makes for suffering. And this is the end. This is the movement, you know, of reunion, which spells the end of suffering. And that's the I think the most profound invitation of our times for all of us, because then when we start to experience some of this reunion, this reunification with our own innate innocence, we stop thinking of ourselves as guilty or wrong or unworthy or, you know, any of this stuff, then, you know, that starts to emanate as the frequency, as the vibration of who we are. And we start to transmit that into the world. Instead of this kind of broken, fractured, disempowered self that we, you know, have been sort of led to believe that we are. But it's not the truth of who we are. And we can put, you know, something else into the world. Our naturalness, our union, our harmony, our power, our sovereignty, as innate divine beings who never really moved away from God, who never really moved away from our divine essence. And we start putting that into the world, and then, you know, maybe things start happening, you know, with the world, and in a sense it kind of won't matter, you know, because the harmony within will always be love. The place that you reside in will always be love. This is a serious, you know, invitation to turn towards yourself, turn around, face yourself. It's not as painful as turning away. Life is short. Life is, you know, is there for all of us. Maybe not, you know, some people not so, you know, but many of us have a choice, and I would encourage you to turn around, meet yourself fully, and love what you find, because it's beautiful. Bless you.